the government has a protocol when it comes to matters like this. We have what is called the NDRMC, right? The National Risk Reduction, Disaster and Risk Reduction Management, right? So, and all barangays have been also mandated to create their own disaster committee. So we have the BDRMC, the Barangay Disaster Risk Reduction.
Good day, and welcome to the Season 12, Episode 4 of The Leader's Edge. I'm Con Abraham, I will be your host for this podcast. I'm a volunteer firefighter since 2013, search and rescue, and I'm also a safety officer. And also, I'm a friend of who's we're going to interview for today, Mr. Alan Colico, a barangay secretary for the barangay Marcelo Greenbelt, is it correct?
Marcelo Green.
Okay, let's all welcome Mr. Alan Colico, and please do so. Introduce yourself to our audience.
Good day, everybody. I am Alan Colico, Alan Honorato Di Colico, in full name.
Yes,
And I am the barangay secretary currently of Barangay Marcelo Green. And thank you very much for having me in your show. Are you sure you want to interview me?
Yes, definitely.
All the people have.
Yes, yes.
All right. Just we will have a lot of disclaimers.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this because I've heard a lot from Dino about you. Okay, so today's discussion will be talking about foreseeable and unforeseeable disasters, and we'll be talking some ideas that sometimes this is like a taboo to be discussed because it's like, hey, this is too much or way out of our league. But that's the idea, Mr. Alan, that when we talk about disasters, it's not just the certain earthquake, not just the fire, but certain things that really throws out of our balance, because these things sometimes when it is not discussed, that is where the really disaster strikes, that when we are not prepared for it.
Oh, so are you talking about zombies? Zombies?
Yes, in a way, the analogy for it's also good because when we say zombies, it's like the analogy. It's like a panic.
Yeah, all right.
And people do reach to this idea of this following of fake news, and sometimes they do just go out of their way just to follow this fake news, and sometimes they go erratically, and we might see that's an analogy for the zombies. Okay, now, one of the things that I've noticed in your area is that I'd like to throw in a question to you. How are you going to do with certain situation, like, for example, an active shooter scenario? Although this is a police matter, then again, the barangay is the first that's going to respond to this situation. So how are you going to deal with the active shooter scenario?
Yeah, well, usually the information will come to the barangay first. And when such information has been conveyed, we have a very effective communication system with the police and other nearby barangay units that could descend on the scene, and then the police will take over, of course, and then after that, well, it's not really in my mind that such thing would happen, but it's possible, of course. But active shooting is such a American thing, although America and the Philippines share their passion for guns, and the Philippines is unique in a way that we are like America, that the citizens are allowed to arm themselves and own guns. just like the Americans. Other nations are not like that. But so what's the difference? You know, the America and the Philippines, they both have gangs, but we don't have much active shooting here. Although once in a while we have hostage taking, but there's no active shooting in schools or malls. So what's the difference? First of all, we have security guards with guns in malls and in schools. So that is the first line of defense for those facilities. And you would wonder why America doesn't have security guards with guns and in their schools and malls. That is a big deterrent. So another thing is, you know, the culture. We have a different kind of culture in the Philippines and America. At the same time, it is my opinion that most of the suspects in such scenarios have mental problems. We are not like that. Philippines is not like that. But anyway, I digress. No? So going back to the topic, but how do we respond to that? Well, it's just like any other crime that we can respond to. The police will go there, the barangay units will go there, and after that, the social services will be there for the after the event, where you have this debriefing, and the psychologists will come in for the kids, you know, the debriefing that will happen. So yeah, but it's far away from reality. I hope it doesn't come.
Okay, all right. So for me, I'm getting the idea is that communication for them is
Yes,
important.
that's key.
Communication,
Very key.
yes.
A major key in all that, in the response, in the immediate response. Well, if it's an active shooting, the shooting will not stop, you know, until he runs out of bullets. So the sooner we get there, the better. And well, engage immediately. That is the thing. Yeah.
Okay. So communication at the same time deterrence. Deterrence comes from the from the force protection, the security guards, so to speak.
If you remember in USD, way back in USD, the guards in USD have guns.
Yes.
Yeah. So everywhere we have guns. The guards in banks, in malls. They would have second thoughts on doing the crime, but if they did, there would be an immediate response. That's why I don't know why America doesn't have it. That's the question.
Yes. It's a bit different aspect of communication. So communication at the same time, deterrence coming from the security guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other question that I'd like to pose is that since the airspace of Barangay Parañaque is within the territory
Of the airport.
of the airport, international and also domestic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question to you right now is that what are you going to do in case of a fixed wing, when say fixed wing, an airplane crashes unfortunately in your barangay's jurisdiction? What are you going to do about it?
Well, actually, the flight path of those planes, runs on top of my house. So imagine you're watching Game of Thrones, they're saying something, and it's always like that. But anyway, I think if I recall, there was already an incident where a light plane crashed on a school.
When was this? The 1980s?
I guess 5 or 6 years ago, maybe. And then, this is another example where communication is key.
Okay.
We have communication with the Metro Manila has good communication with all the firefighting units in the entire metro. Once the communication has been conveyed, everybody will respond right away. So aside from the nearby fire units that would respond, there would really be a lot of reinforcements coming in from the entire Metro Manila. And so, yeah, when it comes to fire, we haven't experienced a big one yet, right? A big airliner is always just, luckily, it's just small light planes. But if that thing happens, I guess you know what. To tell you briefly, the government has a protocol when it comes to matters like this. We have what is called the NDRMC, right? The National Risk Reduction, Disaster and Risk Reduction Management, right? So, and all barangays have been also mandated to create their own disaster committee. So we have the BDRMC, the Barangay Disaster Risk Reduction, and also from the city, they also have that. We have protocols on all kinds of disasters. Actually, when we talk about disaster, the protocols are the same in general. So be it earthquake or flooding or tsunami or a plane crash or and everything else. So the factors that you can see here is communication. Yeah, good communication, and then connection of all firefighting units, of all police units, of all the local barangay forces that will descend on the scene. So how we will tackle the crash plane, I guess that is the one in charge is the fire chief.
Yes,
and that will be, he will be the one who will think of the strategy and how to tackle the fire. Now, beyond that, we have the support already of the other units of the barangay, and we will be there also as long as it's in Parañaque. Yeah, but I cannot imagine in detail what would happen. Because it's a fire chief's responsibility. Hey, you're the one in charge, in charge of this, or you're the one who's familiar with the fire. I have not been a fire volunteer, or maybe we should have a volunteer group here in our own barangay.
Because you have your own fire engine.
We have our own fire engine. We have 2 fire engines. Yeah, but you can't have enough of it, right? So maybe we should have our own volunteer group also. We don't have that yet in Marcelo. Maybe you can teach us how to build our own.
Well, maybe we can talk about that later on after this podcast.
Yeah, you will be our mentor.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
What group are you in?
I'm with affiliated with TextFire. My brigade is called Tested Fire and EMS.
Oh, right.
Okay.
See,
Alright.
so you will be our tutors when we establish our
Yes. And we're going to talk about that
Okay.
later on. Okay. Now, my other question to you right now is, what are the critical facilities, establishments, or companies here in your area of jurisdiction that you feel that is critical to the capital, or as a critical structure that you feel should be eyed on by the barangay?
In terms of what?
Like a facility that has a petrol and also a supply for like chemicals.
Yes.
So do you have any
There's
establishment?
we have many different industries here, many different factories. We have gasoline, gas producers. We also have Green Cross here.
Green
Yeah,
Cross,
Green Cross.
So it's a chemical company.
It's chemical, it's alcohol.
Do you have an depot here?
No. What we have here is a transport hub.
A transport hub, okay.
Only we allow only the finished products to be deposited here in their warehouses, but their warehouses doesn't have manufacturing facility where they store raw materials.
I see.
No raw materials.
So it's the finished
So
product.
it's okay. We have an agreement with them already, and then at the same time, yeah, maybe there was one, but that's not in our barangay. It's in the neighboring barangay. It's a wood storage facility. So like materials, it's easy to catch fire. Now we won't have to worry about it anymore because it caught fire already. That was the latest one that we have.
That 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, no, just last week.
Last week?
Yeah, it lasted for like 3 days. So it's gone now. So it's not a problem anymore.
Unfortunately, it was raised to the ground. So it's quite a dark humor
Yeah,
here,
everybody's there. You were there. You should have been deployed. You should see that.
Okay.
It's a big fire.
Okay, so for now we don't have any critical structures here that they are of concern. And my other question to you right now is that what this one is really off the bat. Okay, so
Off the bat.
Yes.
I'm afraid of that.
okay, this is quite. I'm going to throw it to you. Is your barangay or do you have any contingency plan of in case of an incursion by other nation, particularly the ones that is really we have conflict in the West Philippine Sea. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, okay? So
In short,
how are you going to handle incursions?
in short, in case of invasion
Yes.
or war, all right. Again, I shall reiterate the role of the NDRRMC protocol. It falls under that. Still, because what happens is, if we will be just imagining when an invasion happens in the Philippines by a foreign force, there will be of course damage right away from bombing, and then there would be, if we will be at the front line, if the barangay will be at the front line already, that's the time that we will spring into action. Of course, first is data gathering. We will be assessing. There is something called the data protocol. We will assess the risk and the damage, and also the needs of that affected community. And then after that, we report back, and then that's where the support and reinforcement will come in. Yeah, the barangay will be in a supporting role only, because this is purely military operation. This is what we will do is purely civilian function still. We will be trying to maintain peace and order in spite of the fighting that will be happening. Peace and order is our role. We will prevent looting, we will tend to the injured. Of course, we will be doing the evacuation if needed. That would be the role of the barangay, supporting the civilians, bringing food to the affected, to the evacuation areas. Yeah, that will be still what we will do. just like any other disasters. But yeah,
So as you can see, it's really rather a
difficult. Well, I'm trying to be careful because
it's a rather sensitive.
it's very sensitive.
Yes.
It's very timely. It's very near.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
A neutral place. A neutral
Yes.
place.
Yes,
All right.
yes, yes. Okay. So the other thing that I'd like also to ask is that, for example, then this one is also again somewhat related to terrorism, so to speak. How are you going to handle if, for example, one of the premier condo here, I'm not going to mention, but near the mall, the blue collar, so to speak. Okay, now what are you going to do if that certain premier condominium near the mall in Bigutan is suddenly it's hit by a domestic terrorism, by example, like putting an explosive in one of their 9 condos, and then suddenly the condo collapsed. The thing is that the condo collapsed while the other is also affected coincidentally.
Wow, it's imagination.
Yes, and sometimes
Die hard.
so sometimes this situation really, it's okay to talk about because,
Alright.
because it's better that we have a concrete idea, or even just a brainstorming, because these things also give us an idea. Okay, so
Yeah, well, yeah, again, like I said before, it falls under our risk reduction management again. We will have first off the coordinating of the place, and then the police will come in, they will assess it, we will be evacuating the other facilities, the other buildings, we'll take care of them, we'll take care of the traumatized survivors, yeah. And then, yeah, it's a are you talking about still an active situation? No more. It's
No
just
more.
already, I don't know,
Yes.
the collapsed building already. So, yeah, and then I imagine that many units will be responding to it, and there will be a chief that will handle that situation, and the barangay will be on a supporting role to the experts on the field. That will be our support role. Yes. And then the evacuation, we will provide them with the needed supplies, and then the counseling after. The city will be very actively participating in that sense also. The barangay is the support. Yeah, it's generic actually.
okay.
For the disaster response and risk reduction is so designed that it will be applicable to all kinds of disaster, be it an earthquake or a terrorist event or invasion. You see, this is being implemented right now in the unstable areas of the south, right? So there's barangay there. I'm sure they're very busy always because they have these insurgencies, they have these wars going on. Yeah. And then case in point is what happened with Malawi. Yeah. So I'm sure the barangays were very busy during that time, and they have a lot. They taught us a lot, and then we included that in our protocols.
Okay. So as you can see, Alan has a concrete idea of still deferring to the protocols that they be given to their barangay.
We cannot stray away from that.
Yes, definitely.
But there would be some innovations or some adjustments, but it is always good to follow the protocol.
Okay. Now, since we're talking about that, your community, your barangay is responding. Now, the other question that I'd like to pose to you is that how are you going to do some counseling or emotional uh, appeal or like a debriefing to your own people? When I say to your own people, to your own barangay people who's attending to all of this crisis scenario. Do you have any steps or do you have any plans of like giving them debriefing, because this is also traumatic for the
Yeah,
person who's
right,
responding. Do you have any plans for them?
Um, the barangay will be handling the basic stuff, the most essential stuff, which is the relocation and yeah, the food and shelter. But when it comes to the counseling, the city will come in because they are more prepared for that. The barangay is incapable really of counseling. It is the city. Uh, they will be employing the social services. The social services personnel for the debriefing, and the city has it. But the barangay will be taking care of the basic stuff.
So do you have any situation like, for example, one of your tanons or barangay person that you have to talk to counsel because he or she experienced this quite traumatic incident when responding to a certain situation? Do you have any like a situation or incident that happened that you have to really talk in order for you to have this personal distress from being exposed to this situation?
As of this time, I cannot recall. So yeah, but they have mostly is cuts and scrapes and bruises, but nothing really traumatic at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't come.
Okay, so as far as I can say is that the idea of communication is really paramount
Yeah.
to your
Especially
barangay.
with the new technologies
Yes.
that we have right now,
Yes.
very useful. So yeah.
So communication and also at the same time deferring to the action plans of the local government and still
And the
implementing
government,
it yes.
General.
Yes. And also the idea, one of the things that I've heard of is that Mr. Alan here is hands-on. When I say hands-on, he goes to certain barangays, he talks to the citizenry, and that's really important. It's really reaching out, see, so to speak, boots on the ground on the jurisdiction that Mr. Alan here is attending to, and all of that being exposed to. It's really important to have this concrete plan in order to mitigate any unforeseen situations. Okay, and these are some of the things that we've discussed here. It's like an offbeat topic, but then again, at least we were able to talk about it and see some unforeseen events that at the same time makes us think that how are we really going to respond to it? Okay. Now, with that said, is there any parting words that you would like to say to our viewers? Please do.
Yeah. So the thing with disaster is you never know when it's coming. So you better be prepared, and every time you must have it is good if one adapts this prepper mindset. What is a prepper mindset? Prepper mindset is just basically being prepared for the disasters in the future with scarcity and supplies like food and water and medicines. It's just keep whatever you can, your necessities, and keep it for, say, have a store for, say, supplies for a month or a few months, 3 months, good thing that the Filipinos, the way we store our supplies, it's like prepping. We now have we don't rely on the faucet anymore for our drinking water. We rely on the water bottles already from our favorite water supplier. So, if you can have a week or two of drinking water, that's very good. Also, it is wise to have what is called a bug out bag. What is a bug out bag? It's any bag, preferably a knapsack, that you can fill with emergency supplies like food, extra food for 3 days, extra clothes, flashlight, some emergency medicines, and toiletries, so that when disaster strikes, when it happens, you have a bag that you can pick up for you to bug out immediately. So it would be nice if not you can prepare not only one, but one for every member of the family. So you have more supplies. So be it flood, be it fire, be it the other unforeseen scenarios that Con has imagined for us. You have this emergency bag where you can rely on when you really have to relocate yourself right away. So that's it, Con. We really need to prepare,
Okay.
right? And we will talk about that other unforeseen scenarios in some private moments with Peter.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay, now we'd like to hear from you, from the viewers, from the listeners. That please do comment, share, and like, and subscribe to this channel for other future learning opportunities. And always remember that learning is a never-ending journey with limitless vistas. I'm Con Abraham, and
I'm Alan Colico.
thank you very much for watching this podcast. Thank you.